keeper. Yeah, talk to me.
What?
Same thing you did to get her, you gotta do to keep her.
I went to the bar the other night. Me and my wife just got into it. Man, seen it like lately, we ain't been seeing eye to eye. But as I'm walking in the bar, I see an old man sitting there. Decided to go sit by him, wasn't that many people there that night. So I walked up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, asked him, could I sit down? Looked at me, said, young buck, sit down. What's going on with you? I said, man, that woman, man. He looked at me and he said, I seen that devil around your back when you walked in the room. But before you say anything, young brother, this is what I want you to do. He said the same thing you did to get her. Gotta do the same thing to keep her. Listen. He said you gotta leave these streets alone. When you find your woman, that can make a household. That's what he told me. He looked at me and said, young buck, I've been married 40-some years. And let me tell you something about that woman. When she complaining, that's just her way to let you know you ain't listening. So if she ain't complaining, you should be worried. I'm gonna tell you something about that woman also. She love you. She gonna make sure you got clothes on your back and food on your table. She gonna always keep you in mind. But sometimes me and we let our pride get in the way. But before you do anything, this is what I need you to do.
What you need me to do?
He said the same thing you did to get her. Gotta do the same thing to keep her. Listen. He said you gotta leave these streets alone. And when you find your woman, that can make a household. He looked at me and said, I don't even want to hear it. And I ain't even the type of brother to take nobody's side, but I can look at you and tell you ain't been doing what you're supposed to do. I just don't know, man. Seem like nowadays, me and your new generation, y'all want a woman to take care of y'all.
Come on, new generation.
But I'm from the old school, brother.
Hey.
I was brought up to take care of a woman. When you take care of that woman always gonna take care of you. But I ain't gonna hold you long, young brother. Take a minute and listen to me. Every shot of that whiskey got you thinking, do she love or love you not? Not being consistent with that woman will always put you in the bad spot. As men, we gotta remember that we set the tone. But you will never leave that woman. That's something better than what you got at home. If you did the thing that you did in the beginning, it'll never end.
Don't slack
you
up.
gotta learn how to be a partner, a lover, and a friend. He said a man's biggest flex, it ain't his money, cars, or his clothes. It's how well he treat that woman, and that he told. If she ever had you down and stuck around when you went on your feet, don't let these women laugh at her, no. In these streets, if you treat her good, she's gonna always treat you better. Cause one man's trash is another man's treasure. He said the same thing you do. Gotta do the same thing. Keep us. Listen. He said you gotta leave these streets alone. And when you find your woman, that can make a household. He told the bartender, let me go and close my tab, because I'm through talking.
Come on.
He looked at me and said, "It seems like you paying attention. So what I want you to do is go and finish your drink. Your keys to go home to that woman because she waiting on you." That's exactly what I did. Went straight home. Walked in the door. I just hugged my wife. She like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Baby, the same thing I did to get you, I'm at to do the same thing to keep you." He said the same thing to get him. Gotta do the same thing to keep us. He said you gotta leave these streets alone. And when you find your woman that can make a house a home. He said you're a grown man. I can't tell you what to say. But if you got a good woman at home like me, I'll take heed and how it you. Oh, same thing that you did, that you did, same thing.
I love the instrument.
Listen.
Man, I love
Hold on,
it.
wait. Before we get there, hold
What?
on. Let's do a little housekeeping for a minute. You
Okay.
mind?
Yeah,
Let's
no.
do a little housekeeping. All right. So listen. Welcome to the podcast tonight. We got a really good show for you tonight. Before we get started though, let's get a couple things straight. First and foremost, I have been getting flamed in the chat this entire time, and you weren't even paying no attention to it, or maybe you saw. Oh, no, you're eating. That's why.
I'm not popcorn.
Okay, so I've been getting flamed in the chat about my gray hairs. But they've been here, and that's the thing. And then Kent's fucked around and said, "Oh, he didn't put on his his Just for Men this week."
Oh my God, it is popping more than usual. What that mean?
No, I think it's just I'm closer to the camera. But shit, this is how it be on a regular basis. So, yeah, I don't have no extra grades, but they out there though. Look at them.
Maybe it's because of the our viewpoint being
yeah,
close.
that's probably what it is. Because Tia said she was looking up. Truth said she was looking up my nose, and she's seen them up there too.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This is clearly not the case, but nevertheless, it's okay.
What do they think about the chat? This is new to StreamYard, you guys. I'm putting the chat up there now, but you guys should see it on the screen as you're typing. Do you guys see it? I'm assuming they do. Nia just whooped Sherry Shepherd's. What? I think that beef is old. But go ahead. Yeah. I'm Nirvana.
And I am the Dynamicist. And
we're Unlatched. How's everybody doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great.
Are you?
Doing great. I've had a fantastic week. The last several weeks have been pretty dope. Pretty busy, but dope all the same, you know. Can't really complain about that. So, man, looking forward to this weekend. We got some
this weekend.
Yeah. We got hella dope shit going on. Concert tomorrow. Well, grandfather's birthday is tomorrow.
Concert. Is Big Daddy's birthday tomorrow?
Yeah, 94. So we got that popping. I got some golf going on tomorrow morning. Got that going. And then Sunday we're going to the beach, renting a boat and like a jet skis and shit. And
this is Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Memorial Weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna post up out there on that one. And you know, barbecue a little bit, and just kick back and do what we do. So just try to kind of rest up and get ready for these coming weeks because life is speeding up hella quick right now. So taking that woosah time.
Why you say getting ready for the upcoming week and life is going fast?
Yeah, so between traveling, for me in particular, is a lot of traveling. I think a lot of other things are happening socially that's going to start happening. Obviously, we know weather is getting warm. When weather gets warm, typically people get outside. When people get outside, the other aspects of personality begin to show up. And especially when we talk about one story today, which I think we're going to start seeing more of these occasions, more of these incidences take place. But what's really got me excited to a degree is the reaction to it. I'm just going to say this generation is a whole new generation. It's a whole new generation. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave it there on that one. So, but I do think a lot of things are taking place. There's a lot of shifting happening. Astrologically, there's some shifts that have been taking place that started, I want to say, back in February, March, kind of a season that we came into or have been going into. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to talking about it, just kind of staying in tune with it and making sure to make the main thing, right? For me, it's taking care of self. For me, it's making sure to shore up all those the small areas, the things I kind of been consistently overlooking, and consistently putting on the back burner because I've told the universe that I am not as important as my work. I've told the universe that I'm not as important as my home, my job, my cars. And I've done that in the ways in which, because I haven't tended to myself in the way that I should have, or the way that myself needs it. So making a shift now, a paradigm shift, that's going to be a major one. And I'm really kind of leaning forward into that. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I'm talking about on this end. Kind of in a nutshell.
That's what you want?
Yeah, in a real way. In a real way. So what you got popping now?
Other than this popcorn?
Yeah. What's happening?
Nothing.
I want to.
I'm just taking care of myself.
Really? How you doing that?
Hitting on the treadmill. Working out. Guess what else?
I'm listening.
I'm gonna meet with my homegirl. I'm gonna start going to hot yoga.
Really?
Well, it's called Hot Works out here. And we do hot Pilates, yoga, steam room. Yep.
So what's your motivation for it?
I gotta step my game up. What's my motivation is because I always just get on the treadmill. I need to do more. But I want to kind of, do a little more. I'm still gonna do my treadmill, but it gets boring, So I'm just trying to do some other things. And she's been trying to get me to go, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, so you're pretty committed to this, then, huh?
Yeah, nigga, what you trying to say?
Oh, I'm not trying to say anything.
You're insinuating that I'm not committed.
I'm hoping that you are.
What have I not been committed to?
Hey, put the next comment up.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So we clearly know.
Where is everybody at? What?
So you know what? Before we do that, because I'm likely to forget this. And this is for the ladies that are in the conversation that have men close to them, especially men that are in their adult phases. Actually, no. Let me rephrase that. It doesn't matter if you have men around you. that are mid 30s and up, I would say. Um, it's very important to know the signs of when men are suffering in silence. One thing in particular I do want to bring up is because this happened in a therapy session with a guy, and we started to talk about kind of what was going on, and he was looking at starting up services. Well, one of the things I typically do with people when you're starting services is I kind of want to do like just an intro, and I want to kind of get ideas about who you are, kind of what are you coming for, and is this the type of services that I offer? Would those best benefit you?
Mhm.
So what I'm looking at a lot of times is the multiplicity of things that are around you, right? So all the things within your environment for the most part. So your family life, work, obviously. Um, but something that often gets overlooked is your actual health across the board. Just your how frequently you may or may not go to the doctor, what type of life changes that you've had. And in this one particular instance, what stood out to me was the gentleman made a statement about he's been suffering with depression. And when he was talking about the depression, he was describing moments where he would have these moments where he just where it was in tears and he didn't know why. And obviously we addressed like, are you grieving? Is there something else going on? Whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
And we all have stories. He was really unsure. However, here's what it came down to. It's the low-hanging fruit often, and I think that's the part that we overlook. In his case, he hasn't been to a physician in a while. He hasn't done any regular blood work. Regular blood work would show you sometimes that you might just be deficient of of a vitamin. You could be deficient of, some other nutrient that your body needs. And in his particular case, his estrogen was too high. We often don't check that. And that's the part though. And that's what caught me by surprise is because it wasn't even considered that that was a indicator or something that could be the case for him. So you may not even need services, right? You may not need to have these intensive depression type work. Realistically, it may just be a chemical imbalance. And now, why do those chemical imbalances happen? It can happen from a variety of reasons. Some in some cases, it's other substances that are added to your system. Some cases, it's the food. Some cases, things of that nature. Environmental factors often play a major role in the estrogen production in our body and testosterone. But for men in particular, when when their estrogen is entirely too high, they have emotional swings. So, ladies, people who are caregivers to other people that you care about that are males, make sure to at least have that as to rule out. Ask them to get their blood work done, and let's make sure. And now you cannot just ask for a regular physical. You have to specifically request. I want to make sure that my testosterone levels are right and my estrogen levels are not too high. You want to rule this shit out. There are so many people that are suffering solely because their estrogen is too high. And again, it's the craziest thing, but there's a lot of ways that it happens. So, like I said, substances that we add to our system sometimes triggers it. There was another study years ago that was when people were eating a lot of men were eating a lot of soy products. They found that there was a correlation between the soy products and higher levels of estrogen in men. So then consequently, men started veering away from eating soy. But there are other things that are in our diet that could potentially be doing that. So you can rule these things out and then you can deal with the real issue if that real issue is really what's causing all of your disturbances. In several of these cases that I've worked with personally, that wasn't the case. All it was something that was so simple and something that we never typically think about because your primary care physicians are not going to specifically tell you about that because they're skimming the surface. Okay, you come in, what's the issue? All right, let's address it, right? They're not doing the investigative work unless there's a major issue going on where they're required to. And I'm not saying that to say that they don't care. I'm saying it to say that they have a lot of shit on their plate. So you have to help them help you. So getting your estrogen levels checked, your testosterone levels checked can be a major help for men, especially once they're over the age of 35, going up the road, because that could be why they're having emotional swings. That could be why they're dissatisfied. That could also explain a lot as to why it seems to be so dramatic of a shift versus, hey, yeah, I don't feel cool about this job. Let me look at trying to find something different. You know, there's a difference there. So I did want to add that. I just want to share that in this moment because I found it to be very helpful and enlightening for so many people that I've talked to that just have said, yeah, I'm 47. I have never fucking checked that. Yeah, bro, let's go get that checked before we do anything else. Let's get that shit out. And in one of these other cases, the guy came back and said, my shit was through the fucking roof. So he started on his routine with that. And he'll reach back out if he sees once he gets his baseline up. And then we'll see if we want to move forward or we want to, hey, yeah, I think I'm good now. I can manage. Hey, it is what it is. So, yes. So in this one, here's the thing with the mental health piece and awareness month on this particular question. Absolutely. But just like with any other celebration in this country, it's to bring, to some degree, it's to bring recognition to it. And actually an emphasis or a focal point, right? So it gets lobbied for. So obviously, who benefits that are people within the medical industry, people who are within you could say psychological services, that type of industry, the programs that are governmental programs, that are state programs, woo private, that all benefit from that. So your benefactors, they have a part to play because they've lobbied for that. So that's why these months get made. And in this one in particular, here's a clear indicator. Sometimes in this case, right, seasons are changing. When seasons begin to change, seasonal depression kicks up fairly high. And it doesn't just happen when we go into wintertime. Interesting enough, spring, summertime, seasonal depression can be fairly high as well. Depending on where you look at your statistics, but the ones in which that I use to make this designation, those are the ones that it tells, to me, it's a tell that is a possibility, strong possibility, which is why we work with people the way we do. And so that would be my answer on that one.
Why they made mental health awareness month?
Mm-hmm.
They just ran. I mean, we don't really know why. Who made it mental health awareness? But why May and not June? Do they just randomly pick? Because there's 4 seasons. If it's seasonal, it could have been in January. It could have been anytime. No. Why May? But we don't know. Do we know? I don't even know who made the shit up, really.
I said when it's summertime, though.
Huh?
When it's summertime.
I don't know. August.
All right. Yeah. I'll put truth statement back up there.
Look. Why is May mental health?
Okay.
I don't know. What was your answer?
You were just sitting here the whole time I was talking, and clearly you wasn't.
But you don't directly answer. You just kind of glaze over it. You didn't really say why May.
Ooh, glaze. Pause.
Look. You said seasonal. She said why May. You said season. Oh no, you said they make these months up to highlight. So, but it could have been July. Maybe it should have been August for my birthday. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So it just says why, but this is not really. I was just curious. That was a good question. I don't know why May. Okay, this month was established in 1949 by Mental Health America to emphasize the need for mental health care, to encourage open conversations about mental health. So it doesn't say why May, but that's who did it. Mental Health America. I've never even heard of that. In 1949, that's a long time ago. Anyway, let's go to the next thing. That was a good question. Okay. Shut up. Look at laundry detergent. Also maxi pads.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, absolutely. Laundry
Thank
detergent. That's actually relatively new that they started talking about that one on a larger scale. Because environmental factors just kind of weren't always considered. So now they're starting to really consider all these other factors that could be contributing to it to rule shit out.
This is disrespectful. When I start talking, I'm just digging deep into the answering the question. I can answer it too.
Really digging deep?
Yeah.
Because you know what's interesting?
We found out more.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
What did we find out?
We didn't know nothing about what are these people called?
What are they called?
Let me look again.
Okay, go ahead. Let's do that.
It's called Mental Health America.
Okay.
In 1949.
My first statement about this was that it's lobbied. Primarily, it's to benefit those that are within this arena. So the mental health arena, psychological services, governmental programs, et cetera, that's how that starts. I said specifically that the reason why it's probably in May could be because seasonal depression happens around this time. So it is also to start to have the discussion for that. When people are indoors, they're more likely to go seek help. When people are outside, which is during summer times, they're not. So we're going to bring some awareness to this to benefit these programs. So again, what you added was Mental Health America in 1940. Who gives a fuck about either one of them?
Wait, I do, because it's specific. What did you get from Chick-fil-A?
Oh man, that spicy crispy chicken sandwich deluxe.
You got with the lettuce?
Yes.
And the tomato?
But on that brioche bun, that multi-grain brioche bun they got. And
you have to tell them to change it?
Yeah, I changed the bread. I said, give me that other bun and give me that honey roasted barbecue and some mayo.
Honey roasted barbecue. They put that on the sandwich?
They get little packets.
Oh.
So it's these little packets that they got. And then, man, that honey roasted barbecue be slap.
Did you find that on TikTok?
No. I've known about that for a while.
That sounds like a little hack.
Well, I mean, I don't know about all that, but yeah, it works though.
What is that you're drinking? Lemonade?
No, Dr. Pepper.
Ew, you like Dr. Pepper?
You know what? I turned 40 years old and just started loving Dr. Pepper. I don't fucking know why.
You know didn't grandmommy drink Dr. Pepper?
I know she drank Coke a lot. I remember
Pepper is nasty to me. It's sweet or something.
I don't know. I used to always be Sprite and all that other shit, and now I can't stand Sprite. I'm like, give me a Dr. Pepper if I'm gonna drink a soda.
Okay, can we get into the topic? I liked everything that just happened. Now you were gonna share a thing.
No,
you didn't tell me about it. You didn't tell me. You didn't. I mean, you were starting to tell. Something happened.
You want to talk about that first? All right. So
I'm talking about Nia Long and all that shit.
Yeah. So
now she got us all off track. It's contagious.
What she do? That's what she do. Okay, so earlier when we were talking, I made a statement about some things I think are going to start happening more frequently. But what's gotten me up in arms, if you will, or somewhat surprised, excited, if you will, are the responses that people are getting. So now here is a story that took place in Mississippi 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to play a video, but I'm also going to go back and find some more, show you the other pieces of it, because this shit is wild though. What happened on this one?
You got 10 minutes.
Don't tell me what I got. Just cut me off like you normally do.
What? You are so rude.
I'm just saying.
Time is ticking.
I said I'm just saying. Hold on, here we go. Share this screen.
Hi, Susan.
All right, I don't think you guys can see it. Can you see the tab?
Yeah. Go.
Okay, there it is. All right.
Now this is real or fake news?
This is real.
Okay.
So this comes from CJ's Bar in Hollywood.
Hi, Dynamicist.
Hey, how you doing? This is in Mississippi, so you got to watch this part, and then I'm going to show you the other one.
Now, look, he gonna go and do him a little shuffle back on the dance floor. He having him a good time. Nobody told him he couldn't come in there. Nobody disrespected him. He had him a good time. I'ma say it, ain't no such thing as the white people can't come in here in CJ's. We got white people that come in here. We got Hispanics that come in here. We got all races that come in here. We ain't exclude nobody to come enjoy themselves. I'm just giving it to y'all. I got to get it to y'all in this long length of time so y'all can see what the lick was. He dancing. He came in the club with another Caucasian gentleman. He's somewhere lost in the sauce in the party having him a good time. He ain't even paying no attention to the man he came with. He having him a good time. I'm just going to give it to y'all all the way up until it was time to go. That's when things got crazy. Now, you need my security guard with aggression. My manager and my security guard. The lights on. It's 2 o'clock. It's time to go. I'm going to shut up so y'all can hear the vocals. As y'all can see, my security guard is not, he called him a nigga 1,000,000 times. He never touched him. That's my manager and my security guard. Never touched him. Never touched him for using the N-word. I'm going to show y'all when he got touched. Yeah. My dope man trying to keep him calm. He's upset because it's time to go. Leaves out the door, immediately come back in and check out the footage.
Oh, hold on. All right. So he goes in, talks all this shit. Oh boy, is narrating. Now, here's what was fascinating about this story is that it just so happened to have recording over at this place in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Well, anyway, the gentleman that they were just showing, and I'm going to show you the actual one of the news articles that came out about this, where they're
wipe down
potential hate crime. What's good with it, White? Where they're calling this a potential hate crime, right? And we know that hate crimes always carry these larger sentences. People get hypersensitive and hyper aware of these things, especially nowadays when the hate crime is supposedly projected at whites. So he goes in the bar, talks all this shit. Nobody says anything to him, really. Nobody puts hands on him. He leaves. Nobody goes behind him. He walks back into the fucking bar, talks some more shit, then pushes somebody. Oh, but it gets real after this. Here's another one. Hold on. Oh, wrong one. Let me, I'm going to share this screen with you.
This the kind of shit's going on.
All right, so let's get to it. Let me know when it pops up on the
okay,
screen.
Here it comes. Okay. Here we go.
Okay. All right.
Bar attack possible.
Hold on.
Of a hate crime. This happened after officers say an intoxicated man walked into a Marshall County club and used the N-word when referring to the patrons.
Investigators say that the bar is also a problem spot. They say that they respond to it several times every weekend.
Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson is live at his lounge on Memphis Street in Holly Springs. So, Daniel, how is this man police are calling a victim?
Daryl and Darcy, good evening to you. Good evening to you at home. They say he didn't go to the hospital until today. He believes he may have a broken jaw. Meanwhile, CJ's Lounge is now closed. Police say that they were operating without a beer or a business license.
Interesting.
Holly Springs police say cell phone footage they provided to Fox 13 News shows a tip of investigators believe to be beer. Officers say seconds before they hit, kicked, and stumped nearly every part of his body.
The guy walked in and he was very aggressive.
Miles Stone says he was at CJ's Lounge on Memphis Street late Saturday night into Sunday morning.
Other guys in the area was listening, trying to remain calm. We asked them, they asked for him to leave quietly.
But police say the man continued to call the patrons the N-word. Holly Springs police provided another video of the man outside the bar, speaking erratically, throwing what investigators believe to be gang signs.
Scuffling and stuff outside. He was still trying to fight. He still was saying the N-word. Man, F-U-Ns, F-U-Ns.
Officers say the attackers used poles and sticks to beat him. So case has been opened. They say there have been fights, guns found inside, and a man shot in the foot. The chief tells me they're pushing the district attorney to declare it a nuisance.
I'm not saying anything like that. However, we have to live with our choices, and he made a choice by going into there aggressively, and he has to live with the choice he's made.
Back out live here in Marshall County. Again, you're taking a look at that letter that was placed on the door. We should mention that police tell us right now they have a person of interest who they would like to speak with. Meanwhile, if you were here, you have information.
First of all, that bar looks like somebody's house.
Police department. Well, what does the victim remember about what happened? I'm working on that part of the story for Fox 13 News at 6. DG.
That is Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson live in Holly Springs. Thank you, Daniel.
Case has been
okay. So,
Daniel got an S curl. I heard that. Come through, Mississippi. Go ahead.
So let me give you the clip notes. So Buddy walks into a bar. It's a well-known black bar. Nobody had a problem with the fact that he was there, but he's calling people niggas. Shit like that, right? They let him walk. They let him walk peaceful the whole 9 yards. He leaves, comes back in, and we see the video. Comes back in, talking some more shit, and then commences to put his hands on somebody. After that, melee breaks loose. They whooped his ass. Now, for him to leave that with only potentially a broken jaw, maybe a broken jaw, I don't think they did too bad to you considering what he was actually up to. Now, here's where it gets funny. When they started talking about the establishment, you can pretty much say similar shit about any fucking place because any public place is going to always invite public people. Therefore, people are going to bring whatever issues that they have. Any types of interactions or melee is always going to be labeled to the place. So, but they clearly wanted to make it a note that, hey, this place is a problem. This place shouldn't be operating. These people are an issue right here. And they're trying to say, now mind you, they didn't get into it as of the time when this stuff was recorded, but they're trying to say that he was the victim of a hate crime. Right?
Hey, keep it real.
They want to start shifting the narrative, especially when, and this is the part I think people really sometimes overlook, is when people throw rocks and they hide their hand. Now, we have video evidence that he didn't just throw rocks and hide his hand, right? He threw rocks and came back into the place and kept chunking them and then put his hands on somebody. We have the video recording of all of this, but yet news is going to report it a certain way to fit a certain narrative. Mm-hmm. It is not always the same. And I've said this before, I've said this multiple times, that the laws do not always benefit people of color. Now, am I making this a bigger issue than what it needs to be?
So but who did the hating? Like they're
saying that because he got his ass whooped by a group of blacks that they committed the hate crime.
But he came into the bar
Exactly.
and he's the one who was yelling the word nigga. So
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yes. So how could they fix their lips to say that he was the cause of a hate crime? Now here, or the
Victim.
benefactor, the victim of a hate crime. So here's what we know historically.
Hi, Storm.
Historically, that when it comes to my word versus your word, sometimes the color of my skin always puts me on the back end, if you will, right? And what I mean by that is you can take the I wish I could remember her name, but I'm just thinking of this now, is a story where the black woman was shot in her home. The older black woman was shot in her home, who was praying and speaking in tongues.
Oh,
Now,
yeah, I remember
they
that.
had the body camera footage where they said, well, we feared for our safety from a woman who was standing at the sink with a pot in her hand. And we feared enough, an elderly woman on top of that, enough to shoot her. Now, without some of the footage, we tend to would accept that what people's stance is what it is, right? Oh, well, she came at us and so we had to take her out. Well, we don't have no recording of it, so we're going to take your word over anybody else's. In this particular instance, you have all these people there that clearly in the show that, hey, man, this guy was in the wrong, but yet news is saying that they're going the route of, this is what the county is doing, is going the route of he suffered a hate crime. He suffered from a hate crime. So,
I think he was just beat up. But I mean, my thing is it self defense?
This happened 2 days ago, 2 to 3 days ago in Holly
Mhm.
Springs, Mississippi.
Yeah, so you could probably Google it, keep it real.
You can definitely Google the story. You can definitely Google the story. Well, here's the thing, and this is where this is what I want to say about this, and I do believe that these types of instances are going to occur more frequently, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
And you're finding that the people who once used to accept the treatment are no longer accepting it at all. They're not okay with it. They're not going to sit idly by.
You're talking about, like, for instance, the people at the bar letting the guy come in and just disrespect. Well, they tried to let him they tried to turn the other cheek. I mean, he was very brazen and bold, and it was him. It wasn't he was there with a friend. They said the friend wasn't the problem. It was him. And, for me, I mean, first of all, when I'm this is how I feel about it. Some people just can't fucking handle their liquor. It's a bar, I get it, but they just can't handle it, and when they can't handle it, they do too much. I mean, I didn't know that they beat him with a stick and all of that. Where he was bleeding. That's my point. I'm watching the story, and if I'm watching this, I just feel like it went, yes, he was disrespectful, and I agree. I mean, what about the part where they said that this bar has no license? Was that normal? No liquor license?
Yes.
I know that's not you're trying to go into make some other point about whatever, but I'm saying, like, I do disagree. He was in the wrong. He should not have. He came into, that's like somebody coming into my house and putting their hands on me.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I have the right to defend myself.
Sometimes.
Right? I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes.
So let's keep it real. Says that's her area that she hadn't heard about it till tonight.
Yeah, and here's the fucked up part about it. So when I was studying law, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, but when I was studying law previously, one of the things that came up, we did mock trials, but we would take actual cases that were judgments were rendered in, and we were reenacting the case, right? So based on the data that you have, how would you have articulated your standpoint? So whether you're prosecuting or defense. There was a case that we actually had the privilege of looking at, and here's what the scenario was. You know how houses have skylights, so they have like that little space, like the little windows in the ceiling, where the sun kind of shines through in different parts of the home.
Skylight?
Yeah, it's called skylights.
Mm-hmm.
Because it allows the sunlight and moonlight to shine into the room, right? So here's what this particular case. Robber climbs up on the roof, falls through the skylight onto the island in the kitchen, right? The island in the kitchen had knives there. Those knives were not placed in a knife holder. The motherfucker sued that homeowner and won. Here's another case. Robber breaks into the home through the back door or the back of the house, exits through the front of the house. There were toys that were in front of the door on the outside on the porch. Robber slips, hurts himself, exiting the property, sued and won.
That's crazy.
What we know is that sometimes it really doesn't fucking matter whether you have the quote unquote right or wrong. And in this particular case, some may point to, well, the place is a nuisance or whatever, all that bullshit. To me, I consider all that shit just making excuses for bullshit. The fact of the matter is this. He walked into a well-known Black establishment and began to hurl the most hurtful and most heinous word that is in the human language, especially coming from that direction, right? There's a long fucking history of that. You can't even get on news and say that the Jews shouldn't be in Palestine without getting banned or blacklisted. You can't even say that. Not even calling them an actual racial slur. You can't even speak on them in that light to say that they're wrong for what they do or did or didn't do. And yet you can lose all of your livelihood, get blacklisted, blackballed. Matter of fact, your girl is running through this, Kalani. She just protested the fact of the bullshit going on in Palestine. And they blacklisted the fuck out of her, shut her concerts down, the whole 9 yards. So now that's okay. That's not okay to do, but it's okay for you to walk into a place full of people of color and call them niggas 8 million times. And even though they try to get you out, let you not push you out, ask you to leave nicely, supportively, you leave and come back in, and then you put your hands on somebody in that same establishment. And then you get your ass whooped as a result of that. I don't give two fucks about a liquor license. I don't give two fucks if they didn't have fucking running water in the establishment. I don't give two fucks about none of that. I think all of that is bullshit. And to bring that into the discussion, you're making excuses for fuckery. That's how I feel about it. Right. Because that didn't even be brought up in the discussion. Who gives a fuck what they didn't have or did have? The fact of the matter is, people are people. And people deserve to be respected no matter where the fuck they're at. So just because of that does not give it the right to say, well, we're gonna brush this under the rug. And too often, I think sometimes these type of things happen, and we brush that shit under the rug, and then justice never gets served. In this particular case, those Black folks just say, I'm not accepting this shit anymore. I'm done with this. You walk your ass up in here, and you fucking with a hornet nest, and you don't expect the hornets to strike. I've landscaped, and I'm telling you right now, you fuck with one of them, you fuck with the whole nest. I've literally seen yellow jackets chase people down the street when you were around the property. The whole fucking colony, just about the whole colony. It was a lot of them motherfuckers, I know that. right? They respond. That's nature. So how are we expecting any different response? I just don't know. So do I think that sticks and shit make a difference? Nope. I really do not. And I'm sorry I feel like that. Sorry if you don't appreciate that, but I just don't. I don't think it makes a difference. He learned a valuable lesson, hopefully. I think, but events like this are going to continue to happen. And it's going to continue to escalate across the board. And I think, yeah, I do. But what I am proud of is I'm proud to see the unity in people. And I'm proud to see that people are saying, listen, enough is enough. I'm not accepting this. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'll take the consequences however it may come. The guy on the news, his comment was, well, he got to learn from his mistakes. He got to be held responsible. You know, you can't just do anything and expect to just walk scot-free. So I just don't know. I really just don't agree with that, especially when you consider that people of color have walked very tight fucking ropes historically. We play by the rules that are established. We're not trying to bother nobody. We just want to do our own little shit. Leave us the fuck alone. But yet, these are the stories that happen. And these are the things that, without the video evidence, I guarantee you the story would have been shifted some other way. It would have been a mob of savages hurt an innocent bystander. I guarantee that's what the narrative would have been. They're already trying that now by saying that he suffered a hate crime.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Let's keep it real. Are you still here?
Like, how is that even possible? So, exactly, Truth. It was okay.
It's normal for house clubs.
Yeah, it was okay.
Let's keep it real. What's normal? Just tell me real quick, because I know you live there. So tell me what you mean by that. What part is normal for house club? Was that a house club? Are you talking about the license? Or are you talking about them getting beat up? Yeah. I'm just curious if you're still. I mean, you're obviously still here, but
yeah,
I was curious about that.
Susan, yes, you know, you don't come in looking for some shit and then find it and then complain because you found it. I think everyone deserves to be. If I walked into an establishment, I don't give a fuck if it was an establishment of nuns, and I start calling them bitches and hoes and fuck you and fuck your God and fuck your energy and all that shit, and several of the nuns whoop my ass, I wouldn't expect anything less than that. You technically asked for that. So I don't think this whole notion of these fucking grades is okay.
Oh, okay.
There's a right, there are rights and there are wrongs in this case. And I just think too often we're giving the benefit of the doubt to people that don't fucking deserve it. No, and we have to stop rewarding mediocrity in this country across the board and excusing mediocrity. And you know what it reminds me of? You ever seen those videos? And I know y'all probably have seen these where you'll see a kid act up, and then you have people responding in there said, "Man, I wish my kid would say this or do that," or whatever the case may be. Typically, you don't excuse certain types of behavior. And I was taught if you act up in public, you get dealt with in public. And that was a message that was shared with me throughout my childhood. So don't think just because we out here at this park or we over here at this library, you're gonna get slick and you're not gonna get checked. Well, no, you will get checked. No matter wherever you act up is where you're gonna get dealt with at. So call that child abuse, call that what you want to. What I call that is understanding boundaries and understanding that there are consequences to your actions. You have to be held liable for that. And you can't go around fucking with people and thinking that it's going to be okay. And too often, I think these type of things happened. I just see a trend in people are just saying, I am not accepting this any longer. I'm not okay. I'm not okay with this. Booze, no booze, drunk, not drunk. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You all of that shit, you made a choice. You made a choice to drink. You made a choice to get high. You made a choice to go in here. Whatever the case may be, learn from your decisions. We hold drunk drivers accountable most of the time, right? When they cause a catastrophic accident, then we hold them accountable, right? That's okay. But it's not okay when you're drunk and you walk into some bullshit and you start some shit. I just don't agree. I really don't.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's keep it real. She's talking about the idea of the house being I thought she was talking about something else. I have seen too much on news of this bull, Susan said.
I agree with you, Susan. I agree. I think to some degree there's some baiting going on by the type of stories that are being kind of pushed. I think socially getting people out in the streets, getting them riled up, I think that's a real thing. It's a lot of people are talking about. Do not take the bait. Don't hit these streets, and don't be out here trying to act like you protesting, because you're giving a certain group of people, and it's not all people, but it's a certain group of them, you're giving them license. And there are very few protections under the law that are going to support you, because it can be shifted at any time. And we see this far too often. I just think that at this point, some people are just saying, listen, enough is enough. I'm not looking for shit, but if you bring it, I'm going to sweep it up. That's what I just feel like that's happening.
She said he was surprised no one did more. Who was surprised? The guy?
Mm-hmm.
He was surprised no one did more, she said.
Shit, I was surprised. And I actually was like,
about you, yeah. He was
yeah, I mean, I was surprised because ultimately I'm like, man, that all he left with was potentially a broken jaw.
But unfortunately, somebody's gonna get in trouble. I don't know who. They trying to pin it on somebody.
Oh, they're trying. They're gonna try to.
And somebody's about to go down for whooping his ass. And I hope they don't have. I mean, I hope they don't have a family or some shit. I don't think it's right what he did at all. But it's like in Cary State. Oh, maybe in Minnie. Maybe she's trying to say Minnie.
No, in Cary.
Oh, like a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in Cary States, he be dead.
Well, you know what? Let me say this to that point, because I don't know though, because Mississippi is a right to carry state, but again, Susan, the issue that we come up with is, even when you're right,
you're wrong.
Sometimes because of the color of your skin, you can be wrong. And if you remember, there was a story of, this was during that time in Florida where there was the stand your ground, right? Mm-hmm. So when that stand your ground case happened, there were several cases that came out right around that. And one in particular case, interesting enough, happened in Georgia, where a black man was, and again, no criminals. I have to say that, unfortunately, no prior criminal convictions, tax-paying citizen, nice, and a nice home actually in Georgia, not in the hood or anything like that. Kids is out front. A contractor comes up to his house, right? At some point, he asks the guy to leave. Mm-hmm. Guy doesn't leave. At some point, this said gentleman has a knife, rushes toward the guy's son. Now, mind you, I want to say he fired a warning shot even prior to that.
The homeowner?
The homeowner did, while on his property, right? Mm-hmm. fired a warning shot. Still, the guy continued. Lunged at his son. He fires at the guy, kills the guy on his property, right?
Mm-hmm.
That homeowner went to jail for that.
Because what? They said
Again,
he didn't have the right to shoot him?
exactly. But Georgia has that same law of a stand your ground law.
Mm.
Right. And now property is not only just you protecting your home, but it's also your family, right? There's the extensions of that. So technically, he shouldn't have been found guilty on those charges, but he was. So he did go to jail for that. So again, we see these stories and we see them happen, and unfortunately, it happens far too frequently in our community, where we don't have the same protections. The law is black and white, but when it comes to us, it's always shades of gray.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that they didn't kill him. I'm glad in that respect, because, you know, the optics, what could happen as a result of that whole 9 yards, we don't have the same liberties to say that we can. Although there was a story recently about a cop, he was off duty. Uber driver or Lyft driver comes up to his home, knocks on his door, and he shoots and kills him. You don't get in trouble though.
Mm-hmm. Truth, what do you mean? Now, I will say the bar owner stopped short of the full video. So you basically saying we don't have the full context. Is that what you're saying, True?
Yeah.
Which happens a lot in media, period, like in social media or media, period, I guess. We never know the full context. You gotta kind of put the clues together, I guess. Okay, we're at an hour. So I guess when we come back, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go make me some more popcorn. Susan said, "I absolutely get it." Yeah. I'm gonna play Jason's selection, Dynamics' selection, and we'll be back. Let me get the song first. Jason, let me see the name of it so I can tell him. Come on, guys. Hold on. Oh, Jason sent it to me let me see. It's called Lolo, featuring Nipsey Hussle, TC, and RJ. Oh, it's a mustard beat. I like mustard. Okay, here we go. Is this new? Oh no, this is an OG. This is old, huh? 2014. Is that what they say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is okay.
It's just a banger.
Did he lose weight?
Oh, Mustard?
Yeah, because I think he was smaller on that with Kendrick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt. That fit is tight. Look how big his. Okay, this is not important.
Can you play the motherfucker?
Okay, song? I'm sorry. His chains are so big. Pause. I'm just kidding. Okay, here we go.
Fuck, man. I should enjoy this old ass shit. I should have brought up the fucking ghost, man. That's it. Here we go. Yo, that's it. That's it. Yeah, I'm just thinking of one fucking road, man. 6'4".
Yeah. If it ain't a Chevy, don't braise it up. And if it ain't the Kush, don't blaze it up. We sticking to the script while niggas changing up. They be sounding like the homie, now they fake as fuck. But look, I was in the 4 with my crow, Johnny Cobby on the 10, getting hot. With my whole hood behind me, I had 2 zones on me playing cool. There go Johnny. As soon as I can say it, I feel like they got behind me. So he tried to hit the exit, but his brakes ain't work. Doing 50 on the ramp at the brace and swerving. Much to my surprise, we ain't even crashing, ain't nobody died. But we burnt rubber from the side, parked and hopped out like it ain't nobody's side. Fuck it, GPS the body shop. This type of shit happen all the fucking time, cuz
all I do is bounce in my low. Hitting corners, nigga, I'm so low. Got the burn in the low. Damn, nigga, they gon' po-po. Pops used to have love. I was little and I love. You know I got it for the love. You know I get it for the love.
Let's get high, bitch. In my diamond ride. Oh my mama, I'm on one. Hitting that side to side. Bitch, wrap the flag round the pistol. The rag sit awkward. Hop out swinging. Sags on my boxes. Belt 1250. Robins, no dickies. Dice game T-League. School them like TC. Oh, motherfucker, rumor last week I died twice. But lose your mind and double cross me. Hope you find Christ. Papa was a Rolling Stone and a low rider. Pyro boy with more passes than a globe trotter. 6'4", 6 trays of bottle. Been to come to 3-wheel and scrape the bottom. Front, back, pancake, fuck what a man say. Pull up on your hood day and park it on your landscape.
All I do is bounce to my love. Hitting corners, nigga, I'm so low. Got the burn in the low. Damn, nigga, they gon' pop. Pops just to have love. I was little and I love. You know I got it for the love. You know I get it for the love.
On that beat, no? All my Detroit niggas, all my LA niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my NO niggas, all my B-No niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my NY niggas, all my Chi-Town niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my GA niggas, hold up. All my Bay niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. Everybody got problems, everybody got shirts, cause they nigga got murk. Everybody got issues, everybody walk around with a big ass fist. Everybody got problems. Everybody got shirts, cause they nigga got murder. Everybody got issues. Everybody walk around with a big ass kid.
I'm relaxing, getting high. Niggas ain't shit, I'm just rapping on the side. Told them pussy, paper, passion, and some pride. I got everything a nigga ever wanted before I die. 2 Rolexes that I don't even wear. A big gold chain I ain't seen in a year. Lamar Park nigga looking clean in the mirror. Your girl want me, I can see it from here. Yeah, try and make money in France and smoke plants. You little niggas is hot, there's no chance. 2-step, my niggas just don't dance. If you ever say my name, nigga, we throw hands. Told the butcher ink the program. We hold bands on that OPM shit. You know we in this with the extra. Talk all reckless, bitch in real life. Yeah, that's what I expected, nigga.
All my Detroit niggas, all my LA niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my NO niggas, all my B-No niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my NY niggas, all my Chi-Town niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my GA niggas, hold up. All my Bay niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. Everybody got problems, everybody got shirts, cause they nigga got murk. Everybody got issues. Everybody walk around with a big ass fist. Everybody got problems. Everybody got shirts, cause they nigga got murk. Everybody got issues. Everybody walk around with a big ass fist.
Not a rapper, way too street with it. All I did was take my life and put a mustard beat with it. I'm deep with it, believe in it, I speak it. If I did that, I'll do. Hello and how them niggas where you live at. Tuesdays and Thursdays and white people jumping out. Problems on my dick, had your girlfriend sucking out a born sinner. But live killers die winners. I'll cook my mama dope before I cook a bitch dinner. Pussy ass nigga. I smell placenta, dress sharper than the mind of a 7%. Think about robbing me, take your brain off. She only wanna crack cause she chainsaw. With the Bible as my sword and that Ruger as my shield. Bitch, my move around too real. Oxycontin, probably blue pills, it's a cold life. My favorite numbers is 4-5. Donald Sterling, clip a nigga I don't like.
All my Detroit niggas, all my LA niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my NO niggas, all my B-No niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my NY niggas, all my Chi-Town niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my GA niggas, hold up. All my Bay niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. Everybody got problems, everybody got shirts, cause they nigga got murk. Everybody got issues, everybody walk around with a big ass fist. Everybody got problems, everybody got shirts, cause they nigga got murk. Everybody got issues, everybody walk around with a big ass fist.
It ain't where you from, but it's where you at. I'm down to load a drum quicker than your app. Little nigga tryna ball, set a screen for me. Birds of a feather waiting on a wing for me. And I never let a nigga think for me. How can need the suicides with the seats flooded? Look, I'll trade a mark like a logo for any real nigga ever put up on a polo. Hold on, there go those niggas. Whole shows, both ghosts, all throat, no feelings. No chill.
chillin', got a chop and a chicken. Where you from? I threw mine to the ceiling, put a 4 off the lot. You got deported, and a quarter for the watch, getting extorted. Little niggas want war, but can't afford it. Put your life on the line, that bitch is snorted. All my Detroit niggas, all my LA niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my NO niggas, all my BMO niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my NY niggas, all my Chi-Town niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. All my GA niggas, hold up. All my Bay niggas, where you at? Throw your hood up. Everybody got problems, everybody got shirts, cause they nigga got murdered. Everybody got issues, everybody walk around with a big ass pistol. Everybody got problems, everybody got shirts, cause they nigga got murdered. Everybody got issues, everybody walk around with a big ass pistol.
What's that on that beat?
We in this thing, nigga. We in this motherfucker. Step in my club, call me a nigga, you getting fucked up. Especially if Jason's there. You get beat down.
It's on site.
I mean, you ain't gonna get out. Hey, he ain't giving you 2 chances.
Nah. We coming for the juggler. Ain't no passes. It's 2025. No passes. No passes.
It's at the door, nigga. Dynamics is at the door. Period. Him and Yogi. It's over.
We went to the range recently, and just having doing what we do, whatever. But I started thinking about that and considering, like, man, I really pray I don't have to. I really pray I don't have to. Because it won't be a question, but I just pray I'm never put in that position. But we prepare and do what we got to do to take care of our family and protect those that need to be protected. So
you'll be ready, but you know what? I was thinking recently, my thing with the guns, and we're gonna go to our next topic, but this is just coming up. Hi, John Ye. This is coming up naturally, but my only concern is not the gun itself, but it's the people that have it. And the reason I say that, I know it's cliche, but is that a lot of people, regardless of anything else, a lot of people are not mentally grounded. Like, for whatever reason, they could initially buy the gun to protect themselves, but then use it on themselves. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the answer to that, but it just crossed my brain because it's kind of like they have a moment and it's like, damn, if I had a gun, I would A, B, and C. When they bought the gun, that was the furthest thing from their mind, but they have a moment and you use the gun in the wrong way. And this is, even if you don't use it on yourself, you use it on somebody else because you had a moment. Yeah. And then your whole life changes. And it's like, and then when that moment passes, I'm like, ooh, good thing you didn't have a gun. Because what if? Yeah. But you can't really predict that. And does that mean that people shouldn't be able to protect themselves that don't have mental issues, that are grounded, that are, healthy?
Yeah. I think it just personal accountability comes into place to play with that. I was having a conversation about smoking weed recently, and I was telling him, I said, I live in a state where it's legal, right? I got a dispensary on both sides of my house behind it, a little ways away, but it's within reach. And I said, the interesting thing for me though is I don't like how I respond all the time when I'm on it. So therefore, it's something that, yes, I have the latitude. I can do it, but I just personally choose not to because it just doesn't vibrate with me where I'm at right now. So I don't. And I think the same goes with a lot of things, right? You got to know, you got to know where to draw the line for you. And if you feel like, and there are certain times, like if I feel like I'm in a headspace where maybe I'm angry or frustrated or whatever the case may be, I typically will stay away from stuff like that. I don't always carry, and only reason I say that is because, yes, anything could happen, but I don't like to regret actions. And so therefore, if I feel like I'm emotionally, what's the word for it? Not emotionally vulnerable, but if I'm emotionally unstable in this moment and I'm not likely to think clearly, I'm going to stay away from it. A good example of that also, and it seems really small and trivial, I don't have conversations with people that are serious conversations if I'm hungry.
I know when you told me that, I felt out, and I know you was dead sick. You said hungry or sleepy, nigga. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it because I know me. I'm liable to say some shit. I'm gonna stand on what I say, and it's something I do feel and believe, but it's my tact and how I went ahead and how I approach it. So I do believe it's not so much of what you say all the time, but it is how you say it. So I can say some things that could trigger a person, or I could say things to heal. I could say things that open the door for conversation, or I could say things to cut. Just because, yes, I feel it. Yeah, you might have pissed me off or hurt my feelings or whatever the case may be. But how do I handle this situation is going to make the difference. Is that can this become something constructive, or will it ultimately be what's considered destructive?
And you have to know.
You got to know.
You have to know, because that's where the personal accountability comes in, because a lot of people are walking around and they're being reckless and then making excuses or whatever they do. Whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. You apply it however you say, but
this shit happened to me today.
It happens all the time. And it's like, bro,
it happened literally today, 2 hours before this damn podcast. I sent a message to my homegirl and I was like, man, I'm about to have this conversation. And this is, I don't know why it's pissing me off right now. And then I started listening. I said, I might be hungry. I might be pissed off because I know I didn't eat. And I know I didn't sleep. And then her response was, well, nigga, go eat.
Right.
Go eat before, and then we'll politic about that later.
Right.
And I did. And guess what? It was nothing like I thought it was going to be. The conversation was nothing like I thought it was going to be. Absolutely nothing like I thought. And I was just, I was ready. I was like, I'm gonna lit this one up. But I was hungry. I hadn't eaten all day. That chicken sandwich, that was the first thing I had eaten.
And you were talking about how good it was, too. You're like, ooh, so good.
Yeah, and then it just settled it all down. I said, oh, okay, yeah, so let's talk. And then it was cool. But if like I said, if I'm hungry, if I'm sleepy, oh man, I'm unstable. I am so unstable. So
you're like, I can't talk about this right now.
No, and so, but to the larger point, when it comes to gun safety, it comes to anything, and you think about it, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we can do to harm ourselves or harm someone else. Stories that come to mind to me are like those Midwest stories where people drove their cars off cliffs and shit, right? And movies that we watched, like some of the movies back in the early 80s, late 70s, or where it was young people drinking and then, whatever. You had Thelma and Louise. You remember how that shit ended? It's a lot of stories where people did that. And there was, I can't remember where this lake was, but it was a well-known, I don't know if it was Lake Michigan or some other lake or whatever it was, but where they found so many cars in the lake because people had driven themselves off the cliff at some point or another. And these were like cases where they hadn't found bodies and stuff like that. So I want to say this might have been in the 70s before they were really heavy on like the excavation and getting down in there with the scuba divers and stuff. But anyway, long story short, that comes to mind, and you have people that do drive their kid, and forgive me for saying this, and if this harms anyone, but there are people that unalive their family members by driving into off cliffs or things of that nature, or into lakes and shit like that. And so you got to be mindful that even if I'm unstable in any way, right, is what's happening real? And that's a question I ask. Are my feelings real? Do my feelings really, does the reaction match or fit the crime? So, and those type of comments or conversation pieces, like, you have to be willing to be objective and ask yourself really hard questions. And if the answer is, yeah, I'm kind of lit right now, then maybe you need to take a step back from it and then circle back. I don't even believe in having a conversation with your spouse or children angry or upset. I really don't believe in doing that, because words fucking hurt.
You can't take them back. You could apologize, but you can't take them back.
Yeah, you can't take that shit back. And sometimes it's just not constructive.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes more about me getting my shit off, right? Versus, or more about me because I'm afraid in that moment. And it's not something to where I can actually hear what it is that you're saying and think clearly about what my responses should be at this point to that.
All of that too is maturity. And unfortunately, everybody don't have it. But it's too bad. So look, that takes me to the next story. So look, this is the part I was tripping on, Jason. I didn't realize it was old news. But I told you about, let me say this real quick. True said focus. You see that on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not coming up in the chat part where I could highlight it. That's the first time this has happened since
so where it can be on the banner thing? Like,
yeah. Now look what it did. Now I'm only bringing this up, you guys, because this is beta software for this is new for StreamYard, where it's showing the comments over here. And where True said focus, that's the first time it's happened tonight. It's jumping right to right here to you. It skipped her. It's showing it went here. But anyway, I just found that interesting. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, look. You always find out when a person is drunk. Wait, alcohol and guns do not mix. Oh. When the person, oh yeah. Yeah, or any kind of altering anything, I guess. Because, I mean, you really have to be in your right mind. But, okay, so look. What was I going to tell you? Oh, Nia Long. Did you hear about her in this thing about, you ain't heard nothing about that? No. I just saw this guy that I watch from time to time, right? Ringo TV, right? He does, I don't know. I watch him sometimes. A lot of times I don't like what he's talking about. But, yeah, he did this thing the other day about Nia Long being, when she was in high school, she dated a 30-year-old man, and she didn't go to prom because she was in a relationship with this 30-year-old, and her mom gave her permission to be with him. He asked the mom, and she told Nia, if you like him and you love him, I'm cool with it, right? Okay, so I was like, what? So I did some research, and this happened. She did an interview, and this was a couple of years ago, but it's just resurfacing for whatever. You know how the internet do or does. It brings the shit back. And like you think it's brand new, but it's some shit there. But anyway, I'm going to play this part because I found it interesting. I also had a whole bunch of shit up on this Diddy shit, but I felt I was going to go with my mood. And I was really looking in because I haven't been following the Diddy thing too much. But this one little, and that's because what I want to say is there's so much shit going on this internet, and you cannot believe everything you fucking hear and see. And we're famous for that shit, bro. Nobody does research. And I was telling my husband that, like, because he's famous for spitting out shit, and I'd be like, did you look it up? I'm not saying that other places can't be wrong, but that's one of my pet peeves. Like, you can't just be like, so I'm telling him about the Diddy shit, you know, I thought the shit with Justin Bieber, like this nigga had testified or something. It was so many fucking videos about the shit, and it was like, come to find out, when you go to like a real news source or whatever, it's like that shit is not true. You know, I don't know, but anyway, that's not what I'm saying. But this Nia Long thing, anyway, I wanted to bring this up, and it's like an old topic. And I was asking him, I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about it because it gets kind of old to talk about the older men dating the younger girls.
Yeah, let's talk
but
about
I found it very interesting, especially this guy's reaction to it that I watched him do the live about.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, it was very interesting. So, I'm gonna bring this up real quick. I'm gonna start his reaction is long. Obviously, I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but it's just gonna spark conversation. Okay. Let me share my screen. I mean, I'm so tired of you old nasty niggas. Okay, that's not.
First of all, don't do that.
Hold on. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying.
Don't do that.
Here we go. Let me share.
Because
hold on.
I might have a whole different opinion on this motherfucker.
No.
Well, my daughter can't do it though.
I told my husband, I said, niggas ain't. I said I can't really be honest with how I really feel because motherfuckers ain't gonna like me. Okay, here we go. Share.
Oh no,
You
sir.
can see it.
Yeah, I see.
And that's what. See, that's coming up next. That's gonna be one of my questions, bro. Okay, look. I'm gonna hit play. Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, it's your boy Ringo TV Reactions. Back at you again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe.
Let me try.
What I want to talk about is the situation with Nia Long. Nia Long have a video that pretty much resurfaced where she talked about how she dated a 30-year-old while in high school with her mother's consent. And, you know, we got to talk about it because in the time that we live in now, if you're a man, you're called a pedophile. You're called all of these different names. Everybody want to shame you and throw you under the bus and drag you. And on this particular interview, she was featured on some sort of interview, and she so candidly explained this. And it's interesting to me how everybody was just kind of laughing and giggling, and everything was cool. And what I noticed is that when women talk about these things publicly, nobody really have anything to say about it in terms of like a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really have anything negative to say. It's like it's okay, you know. But if a grown man in today's day pull up and he talks about this publicly and say, yeah, you know, as a grown man, yeah, I used to date 15-year-olds. Yeah, when I was 42. And you don't see that in the public. You don't see men doing that because they'll be dragged. But what I'm trying to show you is that back in the day, all of these women were dating guys that were older. This is why I laugh when I see women in today's day that are in their 40s and 50s, you know, like in their late 40s, mid 50s, and they talking, trying to be ultra righteous and acting like they got all these morals and values. A lot of these women were getting smashed and dashed, you know, at the ages of 13, 14, 15, 16. We're talking about young teenage girls, young women that were dating men in their 30s and 40s. This was common practice back in the day. And they don't want to admit it in 2025. They want to act like, well, you know, nah, that's not right. And you should see them on social media. So I want you to take a look at this tape, and I want you to tell me, what do you think about this situation?
Wasn't the girl that ever went to prom.
Like my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me and kind and like, right? And he did it the right way.
I'm trying to figure out exactly how he did it the right way when Nia Long is not married today. She's been through a plethora of men, had kids out of wedlock.
Okay, hold on now. You're doing too much.
In her 50s.
Okay, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point of dragging. There's no reason to bring up her past or her present to suggest that you clearly were wrong then, as evidenced by how you live now. I don't think that's a fair assessment.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of reasons. She's also ultra popular. She's ultra famous. And the pool that you have to pick from is totally different in that respect. So you're not dating the niggas down the street at that point, right? You're dating people typically within or surrounded in this particular type of industry that she's in, and we already know what comes with that. So could it be a lot of other factors? Her losing her income because of marriage, right? Because we saw it was not Sherry Shepherd. Who was that? She's a woman who just ended up having to recently pay spousal support to a nigga that cheated on her.
I don't know.
She's a black woman too. Not a heavy set. I can't think of her name, but she was a talking figure. So she was, she talked a lot about a lot of different shit. But anyway, not on the news, but she was like in the industry, like with her.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't know why I keep wanting to say Sherry Shepherd, but it might have been somebody that just reminds me of her. Well, anyway, long story short, you have too many other factors. So again, for him to say, well, and you single now and you still know, who the fuck says she wants to be with a nigga? Who the fuck says she wants to be married anyway? And why the fuck do we think marriage is the ultimate move in this country? Like, I don't know where that shit keeps coming from. It's like, it's not. No disrespect to people who are married. And if you are, do what the fuck you do. But if you ask me, what is it? The idea of what marriage is not the reality here. It is just not. And it hasn't been for a very fucking long time. So to suggest that that's the measurement of societal success, that you've been married or that you are married, get the fuck out of here.
I didn't feel good about that when he went down that road either. I was like, come on, stick to the topic, bro. You going left. Who
the fuck is Sherry Debbie?
And she's alone. And this is because of her decisions of what she did back in the day when she was a teenager dating these particular men.
How do you know?
The problem in today's day, when you try to address these issues and you try to talk to women about these problems, they never take accountability for this, guys. They never do. They'll just label you a woman basher. You're misogynistic. They'll label you all of these things. But if we were to take a trip down memory lane, the majority of women that are in their late 40s, mid 50s, all were dating older men back in the day. They got impregnated by older men. They had their cherry popped by an older man. They weren't dating young boys their age. Because once they got piped down by an older brother, they got used to the pipe of an older man. They did not want to deal with no young teenage guy their age. And these are facts that none of these ladies could deny. And that's why when you look at them today, their lives is screwed up.
That's not true.
Like, why they all say
right. He's like, bro, what?
That is so fucking not true.
And it kills me how people, when you have people that you follow or you watch their content, or it'll be a pastor, it could be anybody, right? You look up to and you follow them. It's like, I feel like people don't use their brain. Like, it's like Bro, you can make some good points sometimes, but then you go completely left, bro. Like what?
Like, to
You're
suggest
making a broad statement. Like what?
yeah, and to suggest that because she got older man dick, that's why she's fucked up now. It doesn't make any sense. In actually in retrospect, or in all honesty, older men are naturally more mature than younger men. Older men also understand that sex is not me just busting a nut. So, which means that what's important to me is making sure that you're also satisfied, right? That's something that's different. It comes with maybe age and maturity, maybe age or just solely maturity. But when you understand about being with a partner in that way, it's never just about the end result, right? It's the journey all the way through, which is where foreplay.
Johnny, come back. Go to bed.
Oh, it's where foreplay. close your ears. It's where foreplay and all.
When he's done.
I love my baby though.
Yeah.
Right. So I think to say that what set her up for failure is terribly inaccurate, and it also invalidates the significance of male maturity and male masculinity when they become mature. Right.
Excuse me, Mary, Mother of Jesus, you did not have sex. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so to suggest that, I think is erroneous. Older men are typically much better lovers than you're going to find as a younger male in the same age bracket. So typically, because you have more experience and you know what really matters at that point. And then actually you kind of start to learn your own body. So then I can explore hers. Younger niggas is not really on that. They don't have that maturity level. Yeah, it's just about the action. So, but they have a part to play. But anyway, I just find that very short-sighted.
Shallow. It's like what? I don't know. I don't know if shallow is the word, but it's
keep it real. Come on, talk about it.
I
want to hear about this. Because I'm gonna be 71 and I'm gonna be looking for a young tender.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Single. Why they got these kids out of wedlock? Why there's all this baby daddy drama? It's because they were getting ran through when they were in their teenage years by older men that were breaking them in, and their mama approved of everything because the mama did the same thing when she was younger. What I'm telling you is in 2025, a lot of times when we hear these kind of stories, everybody want to act like they got morals and values, acting as if though they done everything right. I'm telling you facts. Back in the day, 99% of all women were dating older men. And y'all can lie. Y'all can act like it wasn't you. You are a liar. We all saw you get out of the car. We all saw you get picked up at high school, junior high school. You understand? We seen you. Know what I mean? Let's look at some receipts. This is something from the Post where I got the clip from. As you can see, somebody at the top, Dominique, says, sadly, this was a fad in the 90s. We all knew teens that dated grown men. You see that? And her comment got 592 likes. I'm not making this up. This is a fact. You understand? The other person who comment, Eagle, they don't know nothing. They're not with the times. I'm not even gonna waste my time reading their comments. Earl says, y'all really have no idea what the world was like before social media, the Wild West. Do you see what I'm saying? These are facts that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Somebody else came in and says the open secret in a lot of Black and brown communities. Everyone remember the super fine girls in both middle school and high school being driven off by some dude that they were clearly too old to be with. This was common.
Nah, I remember that. That's true. That's true.
In practice back in the days, guys. And as you can see by some of those comments, it's very apparent that those folks are within the age group of the people that lived in that time to know the facts. And this is why Nia Long is not married. This is why she having relationship issues. This is why. See, a lot of you brothers will look at this woman and be like, man, she's fine. She always been beautiful. No, she was destroyed from way back in the day. And this is typical of what happened to a lot of women, guys. This is why she rejects marriage. Because in this particular post here, Nia Long states that marriage is not her priority. I have never...
Wait, what'd you say?
Who the fuck has seen a marriage work? When you look at
It's stupid. I mean, go ahead, Jason. Who the fuck has?
Again, Long, you've been married, y'all happily ever after. I love it. I love it for you. I legitimately do. Is that the norm? No. But you cannot say that that's the norm. What you can say is that some people have gotten it right. But there's a lot of motherfuckers that haven't. And the reality is, it's no different than me saying, well, I drive every day without a seatbelt, and I'm okay. It doesn't mean that you're going to always be okay. And majority of people who probably don't have seatbelts on don't fare too well in a head-on collision.
Right.
We know that, right? We know that. It's just you don't typically fare too well.
Right.
So, again, to suggest, and I see what he's saying, right? In this whole, and so clearly he's putting marriage as the bar, right? And that's the benchmark to measure your societal success.
This is why I wanted you to see this. I really wanted to know what you thought about this. Go ahead.
And I'm so disturbed with that standard. Do you know how many women who are in their 40s and haven't been married? And do you know what the fuck they talk about and how much pressure family members put on them, society puts on them to say, well, clearly something is wrong with you because you haven't done this, because you haven't checked this fucking box yet. And so, and I remember talking to somebody one time a while back. This might have been a year or 2 years ago, whatever it was a while back. But I remember making this statement and I said, I don't want to be a woman's fucking check off her list. I'm not interested in that. I've seen what that does and I've seen how that feels. I'm not interested in that primarily because I'm looking at what do I see as the state of the union in this specific place that we're talking about. And I do not agree. I don't agree with how it's handled. I don't agree with how we approach it. I don't agree about the societal influences. I don't even agree with how family members sometimes will push this weird ass agenda ass message about, well, because of this, you should be here or you should do that. Fuck no. Absolutely not. Because what comes along that road is different than just the everyday type scenario, or you understanding who you are and understanding like what your dynamic in life is. I think that's the most important thing. I was talking to my nephew and I was like, what's the most important thing in a marriage? And he's like, well, communication, all that shit. And I said, yeah, but no, that's not. The most important thing in a marriage is you and her. The two people that come together is the most important piece. All that other shit is byproducts of if you're healthy, she's healthy, then guys can have healthy communication, respect, all that shit. But if you're not healthy and she's healthy, or vice versa, or both you niggas is unhealthy, then you niggas is toxic. And now you have a toxic marriage. And now you're trying to force some shit into a dynamic that doesn't fit because the people a part of it don't believe in it. The people a part of it don't embody understanding, don't embody forgiveness, don't embody faith and the whole 9 yards, right? So again, I honestly just feel like that is a terrible, terrible hill for him to die on. Unbelievably terrible. This nigga's probably like 27. I'm just playing. I don't.
He's fully grown.
He's young, hasn't matured fully yet because that's a terrible stance.
Right.
That's terrible to suggest that she's fucked up because she ain't been married. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, I'm gonna hit play. Hold on.
A marriage work.
Wait.
Why? Because her mama failed, her grandma failed, and she failed. And being that she's in her 50s, why would she have marriage as a priority? It is never going to happen because she destroyed her life when she was younger, which is something a lot of young ladies have done. They never settled down with Mr. Right. They settled down for Mr. Wrong. And Mr. Wrong normally ran through her, got her pregnant, caused the drama, destroyed her life. And now she's mad at the world because she made all the wrong mistakes. And this is the case with Nia Long. That's why she made this post talking about marriage is not her priority.
It shouldn't be.
You know what I mean? She's not focused on marriage. She said, I'd never seen a marriage work. Well, why? Because she's out of touch with reality. Because she have nothing but family members that had nothing but failure. She never seen success. She never seen a successful marriage. I mean, her own mama approved of her dating a 30-year-old when she was 15, which mean at the age of 15, some guy in his 30s was most likely laying pipe on her at 15. And her mama had no problem because for all you know, that's how they were keeping the lights on. She probably let this dude get in with her daughter because that was how they were able to eat. This was common practice back in the days, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let none of these ladies fool you. Don't let none of these ladies act as if though they don't know what's going on. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of us brothers that was coming up in that time, it was very difficult for us to date the sisters back then because all the sisters was getting piped down by dudes in their 30s and 40s. This is a fact. You try to talk to a sister your age, bro, she was already getting piped down. She was getting piped down by grown men, fam. This is a fact. No cap. All the brothers know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It was just a few sisters you might be able to holler at. But the majority of them, fam, they were getting ran through, bro.
Hold on, pause.
They were getting ran through like never before, fam.
Okay, hold on.
You would look at these sisters, maybe your age.
There we go.
Okay, so he just told us what the issue was.
Okay.
He was
right.
He let the cat out the bag. That was it. Ladies and gentlemen.
I just heard that part too, Jason.
We got it. We didn't figure out what his whole angle is. We figured it out. Yes, true.
He wasn't a pick me. He was a pick me.
The nigga was a pick me. And he couldn't get any action. No play. As a matter of fact.
Wait, Jason, I'm tired of you and that damn soundboard. This dude gonna eat, nigga. Eat.
So listen, if you're just tuning in, I did make a statement earlier. I don't handle conversations or talk about certain things if I'm hungry or if I'm sleepy. She is suggesting that maybe I'm clearly hungry at this point.
Or he's hungry.
No. Oh, I thought you were talking about me, that I'm hungry, which is why my reaction is what it is. But nevertheless, let me say this. He clearly just told us what his issue is.
Okay.
He could get absolutely no play, and that scarred him. I also remember being in high school, and I also remember seeing females.
Truth said who hurt him.
Exactly. Truth, you was on it. Hold on. Wait a minute. Truth, you did it. Truth, you nailed it. You nailed it, Truth. Absolutely. Who hurt him? Because he is expressing this standpoint based on that. And probably, I'm not even going to do this. I'm not going to get into his story. I'm not going to go.
Why? He's doing it to her.
No, because I'm doing it for one reason.
Okay.
This isn't about journalism.
Okay.
It wouldn't be about me being an astute student of conversation topics. It wouldn't be anything other than nigga. Oh, I'm finna see where the fuck you fucking up at. So I'm not gonna put myself through all that or him, but I will say this. based on what I'm hearing him say and the fact that how he crafted his argument. And I think that's important to know, right? So if you're there's a way in which you go about having an argument.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn this in political science, especially when you study law. It's how you approach it. Johnny Cochran was not just an astute lawyer because he knew the law. It was how he approached it and how he used social. At the time, that was the beginning of what we saw the craze for social media. That's what that shit was. Because if you look at how it dominated all the headlines, you had people everywhere talking about it. This was before the internet, before social media, but it was the same thing. That was a viral case, and it caught fire. And guess what he used though? He used public opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So public opinion weighed heavily in that case. So if you listen to him, what I'm hearing him say is that she's clearly a failure. Her mother's a failure. Her grandmother's a failure because she's understanding that marriage is not her fucking priority. Are you kidding me right now? Marriage is the joining of two, but you are the most important part of that. That other person has to see themselves as a most important part of their own story as well.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage doesn't make me fucking better. Marriage doesn't mean that in some weird ass way that God says, oh yeah, I'm proud of these little motherfuckers because they decided to go to a courthouse to an officiant who you can actually go online and anybody here can go online right now, go to the Universal Church of I forget the other name of it, but it's some universal church. You can download a certificate and now you can officiate marriage. Get the fuck out of here. And that's okay. Or no, oh, well, I have to go by Pastor so-and-so at this church because this will be the right way. Man, come on, man. You know, and I think this is the stuff that we keep passing this nonsense down, and it doesn't help people. It does more harm because when you get into your latter years and you start to look back and like, man, yeah, I don't know if I knew what I knew now, if I knew now, or if I knew then what I know now, would I have made that same decision? I don't think I would have. If I would have made the main thing. Why am I now at this age? I'm looking for myself when I should have had myself then. But I was putting that off because I'm thinking that this is what makes a difference. I should do this because then in the societal standards, I meet the qualification. This is the same problem I've seen in church when we'll criticize a young woman for becoming pregnant as a teenager, but that male, he skirts all that shit. He gets no stigma. But you know why? Because he doesn't have to carry that little motherfucker for 9 months. She does. And I don't mean little motherfucker in a negative way. I'm just saying.
Right.
So he doesn't get any of the backlash, but she gets it. So then all the people look at her sideways, but he floats. That's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem any way you cut that. Because again, all I'm ultimately saying is if I live by that, then I'm saying that what matters to me is what people say about me. I appreciate her standpoint in this respect. Based on what he's saying, I clearly appreciate that much more than this.
Marriage is not a priority.
The fact that his argument is based on, yeah, you remember when we was in high school and the pretty girls was off with the guys, nigga, level the fuck up. Converse with her. Do what he or them or they can't or whatever the fuck it is. I don't think I've ever thought about a female I couldn't get in high school because some basketball player had her or a football player had her. Like, are you kidding me? I just
somebody older. So basically he's saying you know that because she got with this guy who had the nice car, who was older, he had money, he had a regular 9-to-5 job, that who wants to be with a little peon who I'm sitting next to in class when I could be with this nigga who could buy me shit, who could get my nails done. You can't do shit for me. So she's going to pick him over any high school nigga.
You know,
because that's, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
So tell me, why do you think that is, though?
Why do I think she picks the guy?
The women.
Why do I think
women, why would they pick the older male?
I think
younger males.
I think it. Well, okay. First of all, I think it could be multiple reasons. One big reason is because of like standard. What do you call that when it's almost like, you know how a guy says she's arm candy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how young girls look at older guys. Like, you're a step up. Like, you got it going on because you got this older nigga. You know, and so that, and you got looked at like you were the shit. You know, and it could be the same girl, but she's with this dude in class versus this guy because it's like a big deal. I think that's where the whole idea of the grooming comes in, and the whole idea that, you know, younger, whether it's a male or female, I don't, you know, the grooming part where they're impressionable, and that's why, because they look up to you in a way that could be considered unhealthy, and you have, what am I trying to say, like influence. You have influence over her, and that could be played the wrong way. And that's why I was wondering, like, does it make a difference that her mom was down with it, or is it just not cool? Because I really do feel like, and I'm gonna play a little bit more of this video before we go, but I do feel like I know that it varies by state, it varies by country. I mean, all kind of shit, right? There's so many variables to it. And I also was saying that, you know, a lot of times when it comes to male and female, women are just more mature. And so, you know, you pair a 18-year-old woman, a girl, or 17-year-old girl with a 17-year-old guy. Usually, like you were kind of saying earlier, the younger nigga is gonna be the one that is horny and just wants to fuck and that don't know how to talk to you, right? That, you know, because they're immature. They're 17 and they're guys, versus a nigga who's in his late 20s. He's more mature. You'll probably match up a little better with the girl. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I think you're making a solid point and a solid assessment, because that grooming piece, that is a concern for, especially in our modern day context. You know, the one thing that stands out to me, though, more than anything else, is when you look at, from an anthropological standpoint, when you look at people, the species, what are the draws? I see correlations in nature, and I don't ignore those correlations as to suggest that we are anything other than. We are from the same earth. We are created from this same piece right here, right? So we're subject to the same laws. What we see in nature is that typically females vie for the attention of what has been erroneously labeled as the alpha male, although that was a terrible study, that was not accurate what he was suggesting. I'm just using this as an example, loosely as an example, as the male, the alpha male. But let's say that, let's rephrase that, right? Or reframe that. The alpha male is not the guy who beats his chest, blah, 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 blah. But it's the one who's looked at as having the best ability to provide and fucking protect, period. Provide and protect. Whatever that is for the species. That's usually the ones that the females will vie for that male's attention, or the males within that category.
Provide and protect.
Provide and protect. The younger males don't typically meet that because you niggas haven't even got to that level yet.
Okay.
Now, when you are at that level, in order for you to gain access to the females, well, you and I got to tango. Because you got to get me off my square, so that then you can now be looked at as, because if you can get me off my square, then clearly you're able to take care of what needs to be taken care of. I don't understand why we don't consider that as also a part of the rationale. Older males are far more mature. Older males typically have their shit together. Yes, there are concerns that we have to consider as far as the grooming piece. These are things that we're looking at because manipulation is a major deal. People don't live with morals typically, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
People are out here just to get what the fuck they want to get, when they want to get it, how they want to get it. They'll use you and abuse you and throw you on the side. That's where a lot of our concern comes from. But to just heavy-handedly dismiss the notion as to why younger women would look for older males or be attracted to older males, or to suggest that it's because she has a missing father in her life is fucking inaccurate. Because in actuality, if you look at us as a species, prior to the industrialized societies, women were getting married at 13, 14, 15.
Ralph said that too.
They were. And the reason being was because what was the purpose of society? What was the purposes that was happening right then, right? Nobody was out here looking for, well, I'm going to go out here and work this job and I'm going to do this, that, and the third. No, everything was communal. So people had roles to play within the community. And in the community, our procreation and us having a larger base was akin to our survival. So women, when they came of age, was typically around that point when they were able to now bear children. That's when usually marriages would take place. And there are stories where people got married, pre-arranged marriages back when they were fucking 7 and 8. They didn't have sex with the person until later, but at the point is they were already married off. All of that shit, no. But what I do say is, you can't say that we've lived in this industrial society since what? I can't go. But either way, it's been a shorter period of time that we've lived in an industrialized society than we have been on this planet. I know that much for a fact. So to suggest that all of that shit is irrelevant and it plays no part in today, I think it's somewhat short-sighted to think. That's just how I feel about it.
Right. I'm gonna play just a few more minutes of it and then we'll wrap it up, you guys. But you can see Ringo TV reactions. This is the video that I'm watching, but yeah, he's going left on it. Okay, but here we go.
But you will look at them and be like, damn, she look like she done had a train on her, bro. Like, what the hell happened to her? She used to be this nice young girl in junior high school, and you looking at her and you seeing her jumping all these fancy cars, and you know what I mean? I used to see all the sisters jump into the big body Lexus and the Cressida and the Maxima and everything. And I used to be like, damn, all these other brothers, they able to bag all these shorties. And when we really thought about it, all of these guys was in their 30s and 40s. You know what I mean? That's who the sisters was going after. Don't let none of them fool you. When you see these women on social media acting like they speaking up and they trying to call out men and calling men pedophiles, a lot of those women destroyed their lives. That's why they're...
Now, I don't know if he's purposefully going left, like to be controversial, but I mean, I get what he's saying before he goes left. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember all of that too. So there's some validity in that. I get that part. But for me to then play the blame game as to why she's making the decision she's making as an adult, I think it is definitely a stretch. Like, and then you're saying it with such vigor, like, like you've done the actual research and you've done you know what I'm saying? You got the numbers together, and no, this is your opinion, but you're stating it as if it's fact, and it's not fact. It's your opinion. You know what I mean? And there's a reason you have that opinion. You know, if we knew your story, what does that look like for you? And like Chantel said, are you married? Like, are you divorced? Like, because you really have a lot of passion behind this. But I'm gonna keep going just for a few minutes.
You're bitter. A lot of these women you see on social media where they're like, they have this anti-man spirit, it's because they're bitter. They destroyed their lives when they were young.
But why is it they? Why are you putting everything on the woman? It's like it's some shit going on here. Where is your mother?
And now that they're older, they want to act like they got morals and values. Where were those morals and values when you were a teenager? You
Nigga, I
wanted
was
an
a
older man
teenager.
to pipe you down. You wanted an older man to drive you around because you looked at us younger brothers and thought that we were lame. You thought that we were broke.
There we go. Jason,
you were lame. You were broke. You were all of those things. What are we saying here? you were all of that.
Wait.
You couldn't provide or protect.
He said you were.
Yeah. So again, I don't see what the problem was based on his argument.
Right.
His argument and what he's using to support his argument. Them some shaky ass legs on that table. Them ain't the legs you want to stand on. You need to get some better legs under that table. If you expect somebody to take it serious. You can't play dominoes on that table. You can't do shit.
You can't play cards, nigga.
You can't play cards on that table.
Oh my god.
You can't do nothing. You can't play checkers. Jenga.
Connect board. Nothing.
Nothing. You can't do nothing on that table. So
you can't write out no bills. You can't write on no piece of paper.
No, it just sits there collecting dust. So, again, his standpoint, I think, is he's just not supporting his argument very well.
Right.
Because you could use different talking points that would be far more convincing, but these talking points are not. Because what you're suggesting is, yes, young men, yes, you are lame compared to
that shit was funny when you said that. You are.
You're lame. You don't have nothing in you. You can't hold a candle to that motherfucker who's 10 years old.
And why do you think you can? Like,
you don't even have a driver's license. You can't even buy a cigarette. You can't buy a cigarette. You can't go to the store without asking your mama for permission.
Right.
You don't do shit.
Right.
So you telling me?
And who are you mad at? Like, you shouldn't be able to do these things. It's not your time.
It's not your time yet. So take your time. Grow up. You don't even have a full beard. What is it? What are we talking about here?
Right.
What are you on, sir? Like, I don't get it. What are you on? Because yes, there's no competition. Like, you cannot compete with that.
Then they say you're lame. You are. You stupid.
And I mean, you legitimately are. I mean, there's nothing. Yeah, you could say, oh well, whatever. You could say whatever you want to say. The fact of the matter is, what typically matters to a woman, you do not check off those boxes.
Right.
She is a young woman. She's got to learn what's important to her. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But for face value, you do not check off what is significant to her. Yes, he can buy her some things. And if we want to say, well, it's superficial, yes and no. She's probably, and again, some people there have been some stories where people have gotten together like that and they've made it the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of the older generations were together very young, right? But at the same time, to suggest that, well, all of the only reason why she's with the older guy is something superficial, I think that's inaccurate. I don't think that's the case. And especially the fact of him suggesting that her mother, when she was talking about it, I'm thinking about the age demographic. I'm wondering if her mother was really more so probably right around that probably before that hippie time, but
she did kind of mention that, right? She's like, she was an artist and
very artistic, right? So then that could be code for, she was on the whole free love thing. And it's like, listen, you love who you love. It is what it is. Black, white, indifferent to it. And I get it, but
it is. Nia didn't seem traumatized about it. She's talking about it. I'm just saying she wasn't talking negatively, like it fucked her life up.
She said it really matter of factly, as a matter of fact.
Right.
No, like he He treated me very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And who say that she didn't choose to go a different direction at some point, right? Because maybe he wanted her to fit a certain mold because he's older. He's probably looking for a quote unquote wife or wife type material.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I could be. Maybe I'm too young for all
You
that.
know who her blood sister is?
Who?
You know the comedian Samore?
That is not Nia Long's sister.
Yes. When I was researching this story, her and Nia did an interview. But they have the same father, not the same mother. Wow. And they didn't grow up together. So, you know, they're blood sisters, but they didn't grow up. They both live with their mother. That's a trip, huh? And Samore, Nia came out first. And Samore's purposefully did not say that's my sister because she wanted to, you know, become famous or whatever on her own merit. Yeah,
and she did a great job. I mean, I don't know why we don't hear more of her because if you don't know who Samore is, you've got to go to YouTube, check out some of her old material because Samore was it. She was wasn't she a part of the Queens of Comedy or no?
Yes, yeah, I think she was, and BET Comic View or some shit.
Yeah,
she was, yep.
Oh yeah, Comic View had a lot of the old heavy hitters, so they came to.
I miss stand-up comedy for real, like for it being a thing. Like you can find shit on YouTube and stuff like that, but like the stand-up comedy shows that would come out, like Richard Pryor's, and I'm sure there's a lot after that, but that's my era. That's what I think about. But like, yeah, I miss the
where it was mainstream
stand-up comedy. But see, the problem is we got so fucking politically sensitive, and you can't say this and you can't say that. Like my husband will be in there watching some shit on TV, and I'll be like, damn, like there's no way you can say that shit now.
Say that now, yeah.
Living single, all that shit.
You know, a movie. This is totally off the subject, but I want to get back to that whole comedian thing because I love stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
I absolutely adore it. I've seen several different comedians here. And comedians are one of the few reasons I would travel is to see them perform in whatever venue. Dave Chappelle is one of those people I really want to go to see him somewhere, and a few other ones. Nate Jackson is another one. I really like his comedy. I like his crowd work. He does exceptionally well.
What's his name? Nate who?
Nate Jackson. He's a heavyset black dude.
Okay.
But dude he be clowning, but he's actually good. He's got great timing, his delivery. I don't know what his sets look like, but I always see clips of his crowd work. And when he gets to messing with the crowd and talking to them directly and interacting with them, yeah, he's fantastic. But I was going to say this too. There's a movie I saw years ago, and that subject came up, which is, could this movie make it now? And the answer was unequivocally no, right? But Tropic Thunder. Have you ever seen that movie? Robert Downey Jr. Played a black guy in full-on face, everything. And his the way he talked, and they made fun of it during the movie because there was another black guy in there who was like, how you gonna give him this role and I'm a nigga?
Right.
Right. And then Robert Downey Jr. in character was like, come on, brother, why are you calling me a nigga?
It's called, what is it called?
Tropic Thunder.
Okay, Tropic Thunder.
And he literally pulls him close and says, we've had to suffer for so many years.
Oh, please, right.
To this word. And then the guy is sitting there just like you are as watching it, like, how is he saying this? And he's a white dude playing a black dude. But anyway,
it's 2008. It's on. It says it's on Hulu.
Listen, if you have not seen that movie was hilarious because it was poking fun at a lot of the tropes that are out there in Hollywood and et cetera, et cetera. But it was a movie, and it's like, I've seen blackface. What he did was not blackface to me, and I think and it's a lot of people a lot of black people who have seen that movie and feel the exact same way. Like, no,
they weren't offended.
Oh no, not even in the slightest bit. Like that was hilarious. Even the way he did it, even the cut scenes when he
But
was
to your
supposed
point, it wouldn't make, even though it was funny and there was no ill intent, you just couldn't do it today
No,
because
you
of the
couldn't do it today.
climate.
You couldn't do it today. But people had a different sense of humor and thicker skin when it came to certain.
I wish
Like
it was.
All in the Family was a great show. That was back in the 70s.
That's Archie Bunker, right?
You Bunker.
I loved Archie Bunker.
Man, All in the Family, that dude used to give it to
He used
everybody.
to clown, nigga.
Be clown. And then would get clowned on in the show.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was mutual. Like he would get clowned on, he would clown.
And the wife, Edith.
Yeah. She just kind of was along for the ride. But George Jefferson came from that show.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was on that show.
Right? Or
yeah,
what?
neighbors. And he was the one. And then he said when Jefferson came to the house, because Lionel came to the house first.
The son.
I think he came with either the daughter or he came with her boyfriend. But whatever it was, he came to the house first, and then obviously Archie had a problem with it. But then they talked, or whatever the case may be, and then eventually George Jefferson showed up in the show. And they had their own little.
Now, was Archie like a racist, like a prejudice, no, like openly, or what for the show?
Like he was really uninformed, but he kind of got painted as he was more. He just didn't know no better, and that's what. And then he would obviously be presented with different truths during the show, right? That things that he hadn't considered before. So. And when you live in a bubble, you live in a bubble. But when that bubble gets burst, it's how you deal with what's called cognitive dissonance. So to be perfectly honest with you, I think their writing was exceptionally well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had like psychologists a part of that, because what they showed was cognitive dissonance. And there's two approaches, because when something comes to you that is foreign to you, there's two options. You're going to be uncomfortable, but what does that discomfort lead you into? Does it lead you into now reinforcing your beliefs because something is now poking holes in your belief? Or do you now start to try to understand and then broaden what your perspective is because you're gathering more information? So that's where, like, why some people who are presented with truths, I'll be like, oh no, I can't. I'll never accept that a woman can be president type shit, right? That's cognitive dissonance. You had a woman who was in the White House who, again, the criticism for Hillary, not to get political, but the criticism for Hillary was she doesn't have any political experience. She's not, she was never been like, the next step in line. Fast forward, they had a woman that then sat in as the vice president, which technically is the next step in line. They still found a reason, right? So again, I think when it comes to certain things like that, you'll see it. So that show was a great example of that. And then obviously Jefferson spent off, and they had a successful spinoff. And he was the same character you seen him in the Jeffersons. That was him on All in the Family. It was absolutely gorgeous. But and I think you could talk more then about issues and things that were I
mean, you could have real dialogue. Like now it's like bullshit.
Right.
All right, I'm disrobing, if you guys can tell. I'm getting tired. Look how I'm looking. Look. I'm taking everything off, y'all. This is what I do as soon as we end the live. I do this, don't I, Jason? Every time.
So let's go ahead and so you can get yourself together. Okay. So it's been great. I have enjoyed every minute of this.
He won't let me get all the way.
No. You can do that after off the camera. We don't want to see that shit.
But look, they were talking about your grace. I got a lot, huh? Okay, this is not why we're here. I mean, it is, but okay, we love y'all. Okay, I'll tell you after this. Tell them bye.
Can I do that now? Okay. Nevertheless, y'all, that man has been a real. Okay, stop. You're doing. Where's the button at? Where can I close your screen off?
Oh wait, I closed you.
Oh, you closed me off. Okay, that works too. But yeah, so go back to that one. Yeah, it's really been a pleasure. I have loved every. Why did you change from this anyway?
It does it after I stop sharing. I gotta purposely go back.
Yeah, this is actually nice. I like
you
this.
like it like this. So did True.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part of the journey, a part of the team, a part of the village. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you for your participation. Always. I wish you well this week. Stay safe. It's a holiday weekend.
Oh yeah.
Things are happening. So definitely take care of yourselves.
Be careful.
And be careful. And if you can, by all means, get outside, take your shoes off. If you have grass around you, if there's a park around you, take your shoes off, take the motherfucking socks off.
Don't pick up kids from school. Why?
Who's picking up kids from schools? Who's out now?
Somebody might be doing this.
They gotta pick up their kids? Or you talking about stranger kids?
I mean, don't have a mate, a boyfriend or girlfriend if you're over age.
Underage? We don't know what you're saying right now.
I better go. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
so take your shoes off, please.
Who, me?
Park, anyone. Get to a park. Or if you have some grass, take your shoes off, put your feet in the grass.
No.
Take in some energy from the earth and get yourself recentered. I promise you will thank me.
I have not put my feet in grass in so long.
You haven't put your feet in a lot of things.
Well, y'all have a good night. We love y'all. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming. God damn.